Jaron Boots Ennis don't bring nothing to the table, says Team Crawford. Is that so? Jaron Boots Ennis, quote, he don't bring nothing to the table. Jaron Ennis, he got our leftovers. Why would Bud Crawford want to go backward? Bud is looking for bigger and better fights so he can etch his name in the concrete forever. So nothing new under the sun. Team Crawford has done several interviews at this point. The latest quote from Bomac, but they're all kind of saying the same thing. They're saying, why should I fight Jaron Boots Ennis? What has he done? You know, Terence Crawford, he said that Boots is still fighting in a smaller theater, yada, yada, yada. Amazing stuff, people. Amazing. Now, you would expect more from Crawford, given the fact that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about his past troubles trying to land a big opponent and a big name. When he chose to re-sign with Top Rank, nobody chose that but him. That was his decision. And for the remainder of his Top Rank career, he was getting leftovers. He got Ray Robinson's leftovers in Mean Machine. He got Errol Spence and Keith Thurman's leftovers in Sean Porter. He got Errol Spence and Triple G.
Hell no, guys. I had Max's punches, guys.
In Kell Brook. So the whole latter part of his career was other people's leftovers. Fast forward to the future, and you have the same team, and they're saying that Boots got our leftovers with the IBF belt, right? And the thing that's weird about that is Jaron Ennis and his team have been on record saying they didn't prefer it to go down like this, but we were next in line. They weren't going to fight us. So the IBF made a ruling, and that's just how it happened. But we would have preferred to fight Errol Spence. We would have preferred to fight Terence Crawford. And in my opinion, the fight still and should happen, but you're hearing nothing but resistance from Terence Crawford, like he's so much above Boots Ennis. And I don't really understand that. Yes, you defeated Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence did the heavier lifting, so he made it an all too convenient package for you to just fight him, succeed on the given night, and now you're undisputed. This wasn't you. Like, yes, you beating Errol Spence is you, and that was like, I guess, the head boss or whatever. But Errol Spence, over the course of several years, rallying and lassoing in these different fights and building his brand and collecting belts and unifications. And then he had everything. He had all the marbles except for the WBO. And, you know, Sonic Rings got knocked out when he fought Terence Crawford. But he had done the ring collecting, the coin collecting. Now you have Terence Crawford and his team who sound like he's way too above it, almost as if he had the path that Errol Spence had, and then on top of that beat Errol Spence. But many people have questioned like kind of some of the resume names that Crawford was having. And here's the biggest thing. Crawford probably would have fought guys like Pacquiao. You know what I mean? I don't really doubt that. But I don't deal with a hypothetical world. I don't deal with like in a perfect world, because we know we don't live in a perfect world. So what I do deal with is reality. What I do deal with is facts, and it's always going to be facts over feeling when it comes to my channel. And the fact is, you fought people with Top Rank that a lot of people didn't want to see you fight. You fought John Molina Jr. after Adrian Broner had already beat him, after DeMarco had already beat him, and you got him. You know what I mean? Like, majority of those fights, Amir Khan after Danny Garcia and Bradis Prescott had already knocked him out. And they had better knockouts over Amir Khan than how the Terence Crawford Amir Khan fight ended anyway. But that's, you know, a whole nother storyline. But the reality is, in my opinion, Boots Ennis should be a top name that you're seeking out. But Terence Crawford's team, they see it a different way. I totally, vehemently disagree. I think Boots is the goods, and he needs an opportunity to show us how good he is. But that's every fighter. You know, Shakur Stevenson, that's Terence Crawford's little brother. He's in a similar predicament where he's saying, oh, I'm so good and, you know, I'm ready for these top guys. But for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to get the top guys. Jaron Ennis makes all the sense in the world. I told you, there are 2 fights that I really want to see from Crawford if the Errol Spence fight was not going to happen. Tim Tszyu and Jaron Boots Ennis. Those are the 2 names. And guess what? It doesn't look like the Errol Spence fight is going to happen next. And they keep calling out Canelo, which we don't really know what Canelo wants to do. Now, I will give Crawford this. I think Canelo, knowing his pattern, he would rather fight a smaller guy moving up like Terence Crawford over David Benavidez, because David Benavidez is big, strong, and he's a ready-made 168 pounder. So knowing what I know about Canelo, he would rather move somebody up, you know, because he feels like I'm not the biggest super middleweight. Despite being undisputed, I'm not the biggest super middleweight around, and I want to give myself some kind of strategic edge. So, you know, maybe he does pick Crawford. I don't really know. You know, in the past, Canelo didn't seem too keen on fighting Crawford. So why is Team Crawford willing to fight 1 time a year and wait around instead of continuing to lace him up and fight the guys like Boots? Like, I don't understand this entitled almost attitude from Team Crawford, like Boots is just chopped liver. But literally within your last 2 fights, you fought David Avocado. Nobody in the comment section is smart enough to make that make sense. I'm going to say it again. Errol Spence Jr., great win. Great win. But that's 1 win, but it was a great one. Within your last 2 fights, Crawford fought David Amnesia or whatever, right? So how is it within 2 fights you were willing to fight under any circumstance? BLK, BLT Prime, BBL Prime, whatever that was called. You were willing to fight David Avocado under any circumstance, at home, whatever, right? You were willing to do this, but now you're above it and too good for it because you walked out with Eminem. There's several different levels. Hey, yo, this song goes for anybody. Hey, yo, okay, listen, you might see me jogging. You might see me walking. You might see me walking a dead Rottweiler dog with his head chopped off in the park with a spike collar, hollering at him because the son of a won't quit barking. Or leaning out the window with a cocked shotgun, driving up the block in the car that they shot pocket, looking for big skillers, dressing ridiculous. You walked out with Eminem and now you think you too good for Boots? Huh? That don't make no sense to your boy Ego. You just fought David Avocado, Errol Spence, and then now Boots is out of the question? He was your mandatory. He has your old strap. Now you don't care about straps at welterweight anymore. You don't care about, like, he's saying his team, Bomac just said we're trying to etch our name in history. Boots is that's a great way to do that as well. Especially if Canelo, like, my thing is this, I don't think Canelo is going to fight Crawford next in May. So you're going to just keep waiting. Oh, so let's say Canelo fights Jermall Charlo in May. You got to wait and hope that he beats Jermall Charlo, which, you know, I guess he'll be the favorite to do so. But you got to wait for that outcome before. So you're basically just waiting around, waiting to get picked up by Canelo. That's what it seems like. So that does seem like a cherry pick in that regard. Like, everybody wants to fight Canelo if they have a chance. Tim Tszyu said he wants to fight Canelo. But the great thing about Tim Tszyu, and I respect the heck out of Tim Tszyu for this, is he wanted to fight Jermall Charlo. He wants to fight Canelo. He's already been on record and said these things. He said he will fight Crawford. True fighter, true warrior. Tim Tszyu, respect. He got the blood of his father because he's not waiting around. He's not waiting. He didn't wait around hoping to get the Jermall Charlo fight, so he didn't do anything in the interim. And he stayed busy. Tony Harrison and Ocampo and Brian Mendoza and now Keith Thurman. He's not waiting for Jermall Charlo, who just lost to Canelo, because imagine if he would have waited for Jermall Charlo. They had the fight scheduled in January of last year. Charlo pulled out because he was injured, had a hand injury. And imagine if he just waited, sat on the sidelines and got rusty waiting for Jamel, and then Jamel get the call to fight Canelo at 168, and it's record-breaking money and an opportunity, so he takes it. And then Tim Tszyu would look stupid because he just was sitting there waiting for one man instead of moving on with his career. So I appreciate fighters like Tim Tszyu that are just staying active and staying busy despite wanting bigger fights. Like every fighter should want bigger fights. You know, Tim Tszyu is willing to stay active and fight Keith Thurman and fight the Mendozas while he waits for bigger, and he's just only honing and sharpening his skills further while he waits for the big opportunities. So when they come, maybe he'll be even more ready, or as ready as he can be, because he's getting that good old activity and experience in. Meanwhile, Crawford, to me, with Tim Tszyu fighting Thurman, with Canelo's May fight likely to be Jermall Charlo or someone other than Crawford, Errol Spence cataract surgery probably out of the equation, Boots is just right there, and his team is saying everything but, yeah, we'll consider it. They're saying they won't even consider it, and it's a lose-lose situation. That's the mentality I don't understand. I would always advise any fighter to not just sit around and wait and continue to wait for someone's availability. It reminds me of Amir Khan. Amir Khan did this. He wanted to fight Pacquiao. He wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. So he sat and waited, and then finally gets an offer that he shouldn't have took to fight Canelo, and he gets his brains knocked out. I was born ready by Canelo Alvarez. So to me, that's just a weird move. You were so thirsty for a big fight, Amir Khan, that you waited, couldn't get Floyd, couldn't get Pacquiao, never happened. And then you stagnated your career, like even to a point where he was supposed to fight Devin Alexander. See, y'all don't really know boxing. I know boxing. I know everything about this sport. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. Amir Khan was supposed to fight Devin Alexander before he actually fought him. They did end up fighting, but it was supposed to happen earlier. But he was in this phase of thinking he was going to get Floyd Mayweather, and Mayweather ended up picking Maidana. So Khan just wasted time in his career waiting and hoping to get chose. And that's what it looks like Terence Crawford is comfortable doing, rather than just get busy with the fight we all know. And I don't care what no one says, no one on Crawford's team, none of the Bud Buddies, I would pay for Crawford versus Boots. Great fight. Both guys have a chance to win. That's what this is about. And me as a consumer, you're not going to tell me, the boxing fan, what I would pay for. I pay for what I want to pay for. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. We're at a stage in the game of social media where it's like some of the boxers got it twisted. They forget that we're the consumers. We pay for what we want. You know what I'm saying? So you give us the fights that we're looking for, or you lay out your fight and we decide if we want to pay it. But this entitled attitude from Team Crawford, as if they're so much past Boots in terms of, like, you just fought Errol Spence. You just fought one name that's ringing bells, and now you're too good for Boots. Mind-boggling.